Well, another one of our projects right now is getting these asparagus fronds cut back from our asparagus patch. We left these over the winter to provide protection for our crowns, and also they act as a place to catch snow and moisture, and that can provide moisture for our crowns. But right now we need to get those off before those spears start pushing through the ground. So we're just going to cut all these fronds back about 1 inch above the soil level, and then we'll take all these fronds and run them through the mulcher, and they'll make a good addition to our compost pile. Now, another reason that we've left these fronds over the winter is to actually keep the soil temperature where our crowns are cooler so that our spears don't come up quite so soon. Research done here at Oklahoma State University has shown that the soil temperature at 4 inches where the crowns are can actually be 7 degrees cooler if the fronds are left on than if the fronds are cut off at the ground. Well, this may not sound like a big thing, but if you don't want your spears to get damaged by a spring frost, if they come up about a week later, that can help delay that damage. So anyway, we're going to cut all of these off in anticipation of a good crop. We're also going to do another project that we've tried before on Oklahoma Gardening, and we're going to see if it works this year, and that's blanching our asparagus. Now, the reason that people blanch asparagus is to get a white spear so that the spear maybe has a more mild flavor and is less pithy or fibrous. And so we're going to try that on part of our asparagus bed this year, and we've just taken a mix of mulch and soil, and we're going to mount that over one of our crowns to a height of about 9 inches. And we'll leave this there until we see the spears just peeking up out of the top of this mulch. And then we'll try and harvest these with a dandelion cutter and see if we've got some blanched asparagus. Now, the point is to keep the light away from that spear, and that's what causes the blanching. Now, you can do this with mulch or soil, or you can use black plastic and some hoops, just anything that'll block the light out from that asparagus spear. So we're going to leave this here and come back and see if we've got some delicacy asparagus this next spring. Well, if you don't have any asparagus, we're going to show you how to establish an asparagus bed of your own. Let's go see. Well, this unsightly mass of roots are actually asparagus crowns. As you can see, there are a lot of roots here. Now, asparagus isn't something that you can just go throw in the ground and it'll grow. It takes a little bit of advanced preparation, and that's what we've done here today. Now, we've got a nice bed here that's been amended with some organic material, and asparagus love organic material. They love composted manure and compost, and we've amended our bed with that this last fall. They also like a sunny location that is well drained. An established asparagus root can actually go 10 feet into the ground, and so if you've got a high water table, you're not going to want to plant asparagus there. Well, since we've addressed these things that asparagus like, now we need to go about planting them. And first, we dug a trench here that's about 1 foot wide, and it's about 8 inches deep. And then you'll notice here in the middle, we've made a little ridge that's about 4 inches from the soil level, and that's where we're going to plant our asparagus. Well, next, before we start planting these crowns, we need to put a little bit of superphosphate in this trench, and the reason that we're doing this is so that our phosphate will be at the level where the roots are. Phosphate doesn't move in the soil very well, and so we want that at root level. Now I'm using triple superphosphate that has an analysis of 0.460. And I'm using this at a rate of 1/2 pound to 50 feet of row. Now it's important not to use anything that has nitrogen or potassium in it at this root level, because the salts in the nitrogen and the potassium will burn those roots. But we want our phosphorus down there around the root level. Well, now that I've got my superphosphate down, I want to go ahead and plant my asparagus crown. Now, the reason we have this ridge in the middle is so that we have something to perch the crown on and then gently place the roots out around the crown. And it's got something to sit on. Now we'll kind of seat it there. And then you can plant asparagus crowns from 12 to 15 inches apart, and we're going to put ours at 12 inches apart. Now you want to do this gently. When you're choosing crowns, which are actually available at your local garden center, you want to try and look for crowns that don't have the sprouts already coming. Now this can be kind of hard later in the season, but you'll notice this one, we don't have anything sprouting yet, but this one we have just some small sprouts, and we're going to go ahead and use this one anyway, but if you can, try and get them that aren't sprouting. And again, we just gently place these out, kind of tease the roots out round. Now once we've got our crowns in place, then we need to come back and fill in gently with soil to about 2 to 3 inches over that crown. You don't want to entirely fill the trench in at first. You want to put about 2 or 3 inches over that to protect it from frost. And then as you see the crowns starting to sprout and you see those sprouts coming out the top, you'll continue to fill in the trench until you've got it filled in to ground level. Now, for this first year, you're not going to want to harvest any of your asparagus. You're going to want to let those ferns grow and be nice and big and send all that energy back down to the crown to make it stronger for the next year. And you'll leave that through the winter like we did with our established bed. And then the second year, you can actually harvest some of your spears for about a week to 2 weeks from that bed. And by the third year, you can get 6 weeks of harvest. Now, an established asparagus bed can last up to 15 years, and the usual harvest length is about 8 weeks. Now, the variety that we planted today was UC 157, and this is a variety that is recommended for Oklahoma. Now, there are also the Jersey varieties like Jersey Jim and Jersey Giant, and they are also recommended for Oklahoma, but the UC 157 variety seems not to leaf out at such a low spear length when the weather gets hot, like it does in Oklahoma in the end of May. So you might try putting some asparagus into your yard. If you've noticed the prices of asparagus in the market, you'll really want to go out and plant some asparagus.
We hope you enjoyed this video. It's part of our OK Gardening Classics YouTube channel. You can also find more recent videos on our Oklahoma Gardening YouTube channel. And join us on social media for great gardening tips, photos, and discussion.